Hey everybody, it's episode 205 of PodQuest.
205!
It is Tuesday, July 31st, 2018.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I am Chris. With me is Walnut.
Yeah.
Just us tonight.
Yeah.
Drew's not feeling well, so
yeah, he's being lame, I guess.
we'll allow it. He'll probably be back next week, assuming he's feeling better.
Yeah, hopefully.
So, I guess, do you want to jump right into news?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright. So the first one will make no difference to you, but Saga is taking a year-long break, at least.
I saw that.
I
know you're bummed out about it.
I am. So that book usually takes 3-month hiatuses at the end of every 6-issue arc, I believe it is.
Uh-huh.
So they do 6 issues, they take a 3-month break, they come back, they do 6 more issues. They've been doing that since the comic launched in 2012.
Okay.
Issue 54 just came out last Wednesday. And at the back of that, where they would normally have their letters, Brian K. Vaughan, who writes it, spelled it out that they were going to take at least a year off, maybe longer.
Okay.
Which is a huge bummer. Like, both of them have a ton of other stuff they're doing. The artist Fiona Staples does a lot of covers, and I believe she has a few other books that are maybe happening soon. They didn't say anything in the saga, but it said that she had some other work coming up.
Yeah.
And Brian K. Vaughan, he has a bunch of other books that he's writing. He does a lot of TV stuff too. Like, he was a writer on Lost for a while. I forget what seasons he worked on that. He also helped develop the show Under the Dome that was on, I want to say, CBS a few years ago.
Yeah.
Based on a Stephen King book.
Yeah.
So like, he does a lot, outside of comics, he does a lot of TV work. But yeah, that book just ended on like a real fucking downer too.
That sucks.
Yeah, like, it was one of those, like, that comic is very good at having that last page be like a stomach drop moment.
Yeah.
Like, there was one issue very early on, probably in the first year or two of it, I would say, within less than issue 20, I would say, where there's a character called Lying Cat. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's like a blue, hairless, large cat.
No, I don't really know much about this series, except it's ridiculous.
It's been in a lot of the promotional materials from it.
Yeah.
But it looked like it died in the one issue. Like, it got blown out an air hatch in space.
Okay.
So, like, you just assume, like, oh, it's dead. And there was, that happened on the last page, and then you had a month to wait. I think it was a month. That might have been the end of an arc. I don't remember that well.
Yeah.
But, like, they're very... That is kind of a key part of that comic, is those, like, kind of end-of-issue cliffhangers that really do leave you hanging and wanting to know what comes next.
Yeah.
And the last 2 issues have done that, and now we have to wait a year before we actually see what happens.
Well, I hope they blow your mind away.
Me too.
Hopefully.
Me too.
Who knows?
I mean,
But
that book has very rarely had a bad issue. There have been points in time where I was a little less invested in the story than others, but there's never just been like that issue was whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's always got a certain like level of quality to it that you don't see for after 54 issues of something. You don't often see that.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it coming back. I'm bummed that it's going to be gone for so long though.
Yeah, I mean, that's a long break, but you've done it before with Doctor Who. I'm sure you could do it with this.
Yeah, but you know what? Doctor Who's stuff doesn't end on like a real cliffhanger. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even when they're changing doctors, you see the doctor's transformation, and then there's not really like story like cliffhangers, especially not. So like, by the time I got caught up, that was even more true.
Yeah, no, there's really no cliffhangers last season.
Yeah, well, I mean, even before that, like, the season finale never really ended on a cliffhanger for like the next season. It just, because I mean, that's just kind of the way BBC does stuff, I think. Yeah. But this is one of those, like, it ended on a huge cliffhanger, like a huge emotional beat for the story, and then it's just gone for a year. And it was already only around once a month.
Yeah.
For 22 pages. So.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it does. But it will be back, and it's creator-owned, so it's not like you have to worry about, the publisher canceling it.
Yeah.
The book sells well enough that it will, once they are ready to do it again, Image will continue to publish it for them.
Yeah.
Let's see what's next. So AMC renewed some shows.
Yeah, they did.
One of them, Better Call Saul, which hasn't even debuted its new season yet.
That's nuts.
The other one is Fear the Walking Dead.
Really?
Yeah. which I'm kind of surprised. I did not think that show was getting the ratings.
I mean,
I don't hear anybody talking about it in any sort of positive way.
I watched the first season.
And
like,
it has not, like, Erica watches it. So, I mean, like, yes, there are people that watches it, but even she doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Like, she actually said at the end of, like, the mid-season, she's like, I don't know if I'm going to bother watching this when it comes back.
But it's a time slot. It's a summer time slot, and there's not a lot of summer shows. So there may not be a big ratings for it, but it's probably still got pretty decent ratings.
I guess that's true. It's just, it's so weird, because it's not good. Like, it's not good at all.
No.
None of the characters are interesting. They've literally, even the new characters they've introduced, anytime one of them was even, like, had a modicum of interest about them, they killed them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure honestly, spoilers, I'm pretty sure they killed every new character they introduced this season except for Morgan.
I'm not surprised.
And then almost every character from every other season. The only person left, I think, is the black guy and the daughter.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure every other person is dead.
Sounds right. Yeah.
And even then, they fucked up the deaths by, like, they killed somebody. And they did it in like, typical Walking Dead, like, they made it kind of want to feel like it was a big deal. But then they proceeded to the next 4 episodes have flashbacks with that character in it. It's like, if you're going to kill the character, fucking kill them. Because now that people are seeing them every week, it has 0 impact.
Yeah, because you still see the character.
Yeah, because the whole first half of the season was the present with, like, Morgan and some people, and then a flashback to we're not really sure how long ago.
Yeah.
With, like, the group from the first 3 or 4 seasons in, like, their little community that they had set up in, like, the years between where, like, season 3 and 4 left off.
Yeah, I still think it's nuts that Morgan joined that cast because it's, like, such a long time difference to just jump them. It's ridiculous. And even on top of that, there's such a long time difference from Morgan leaving them to Morgan showing up with the other group.
Yeah, no.
Because how long does it take him to travel halfway across the country? From DC to...
I don't know, he kind of Forrest Gumped it. He just kind of started running one day. Didn't stop.
Is that really what happens?
Yeah.
Like, he just...
Oh, right, because that wasn't part of Walking Dead. That was part of Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first episode, if I remember correctly, it's... He moves into the dumpster city.
Yeah.
And everyone comes to check on him, like Rick and Carol and, like, anyone you can think of that would actually have any sort of connection with him.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where, like, they didn't really do any talking. Like, they just kind of showed the characters interacting.
Yeah.
And eventually he just kind of left. He just, like, packed his shit up and started running. And, like, sometimes he was driving, sometimes he was walking, sometimes he was legit running.
Yeah.
So,
it had to have taken him probably about a month or 2.
That was fucking creepy. Yeah. Richie's door just kind of blew open. It must not have clicked when I closed it. That's better. But yeah, I don't know if it would have taken a month just because there's nobody else on the roads.
But possible hazards and like herds and stuff like that.
But keep in mind, this is Morgan, so anytime he couldn't travel by road, he would have just beelined it in a straight line through, like, forest and all. And he's pretty good about just avoiding anything or just quickly taking it out.
But he also didn't know where he was going.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was just heading in a direction.
Yeah.
And
where are they in Fear?
I don't even know anymore.
Are they in
Texas,
like, Texas?
Maybe?
So...
I think they're back in America?
Yeah, I think it was Texas because everyone was saying that they were probably going to run into Eugene.
Well, they had been in Mexico.
Yeah.
But I think they're back in Texas now. Honestly, I have no idea. Like, the show's really bad and I don't pay that much attention to it.
Yeah.
In fact, like, honestly, that first episode, maybe there was a bunch of talking and I just fucking forgot.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good and I can't believe it's coming back for another season.
Yeah, no.
So did you see who the Walking Dead villains are going to be next season?
The Whisperers.
Yep. Fucking told you, bitch.
I don't like it.
Why?
I just think that's too out there for the show that they have.
So it depends how they do it. If they just do masks, it's not that bad. If they do the full body, then it's a little creepier. Or not even creepier, but then, yeah, that's a little much.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I just think it's a little too much, but I also am not happy with the show at all currently, so I'm just like, kill it now before it gets worse.
I mean, like, if they do the Whisperers right, I think it could actually kind of like pull itself back together.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, however, the characters that are leaving, like we know Andrew Lincoln's leaving and Lauren Cohan's leaving.
Yeah.
I think she's only supposed to be in like 6 episodes too, is what I read.
I wouldn't be surprised. She's probably going to be ahead on a pike.
Maybe. But I mean, we know there's a time skip.
Yeah.
And we know from the end of last season that nobody's real happy with Rick.
Which makes no sense that Jesus isn't happy with Rick, but, like, the rest of them kind of understand. Jesus doesn't make any sense.
I mean, they just don't want Negan around. They want Negan
But Jesus
done.
was spouting the entire last episode. Jesus was like, forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness.
That's true.
And then Rick brings it, like, doesn't kill Negan, and now Jesus is like, we gotta kill Negan. It's the dumbest thing. I hate, like, those character turnarounds like that just ruin it for me. And that's why I'm like, it just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I hope that they can do something with the next season of it. I like that it's going to be the Whisperers, just because I thought those were an interesting villain after really just a lot of the same.
Yeah.
Like, the governor and Negan, while very different in approaches to everything, it was really just communities run by psychopaths.
Yeah.
But they were normal communities. Like, there wasn't anything really weird about them, other than, like, I mean, obviously the governor had his weirdnesses, and so did Negan.
I mean, the Saviors were a mafia type company, like, but Woodbury was essentially a normal place.
But the Whisperers are fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, rape is fine for them, and they just kind of live out in the open. They don't sleep in anything. They just kind of sleep wherever they're standing.
Yeah.
Or they lay down wherever they can and then go to sleep. So,
yeah.
I think if they do that right, it could be actually really interesting.
And I hope it is, but like I said, I'm tired. I'm, like, done with the show.
Yeah, like, I mean, I wasn't super thrilled with anything from last season either, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, I messaged this to you last week. Chris Hardwick has been reinstated to Talking Dead.
Yeah, he's returning to Talking Dead.
He won't be hosting the special. That's either this week or next week.
Yeah.
That'll still be Yvette Nicole Brown. But when it returns with Fear the Walking Dead, like the week after or something like that, he will be the host again.
Yeah, because they're conducting, I think based on the article you sent and I read, they're conducting an investigation as well. They're looking into it, but like they did what I was saying Disney does and everybody else does. We're distancing ourselves from the issue. We're going to do an investigation, and what comes of it, we'll see.
Yeah, and like in their statement, they worked with somebody. They worked with a lawyer. And for what it's worth, it looks like it was a female lawyer. So
yeah,
there's that. Who has considerable experience in the area of what they were dealing with, and they did a comprehensive assessment to see, I guess, how true any of the accusations were, and if they could find any proof of any of it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what any of that entailed, but AMC decided that he is clear to work it for them again.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to, like, push down her claims or anything, but there's a lot of, like, question marks in what she said and what he's saying and back and forth that we're getting from his, like, defensive arguments and everyone in support of him. Like, some of this doesn't quite make sense.
I mean, I was very confused after TMZ released some text messages between the two of them.
Yeah.
And it just, I'm not saying he was a good boyfriend or anything like that.
No.
But the messages that were sent, like, around when they broke up and why they broke up and all, just seemed weird for somebody that would have been abusive the way she described to send.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I think, like, there's got to be truth in what she said somewhere, because that stuff was too crazy to make up completely.
Oh, and absolutely. And I don't want to, like, discourage her or make anybody think that I think everything she's saying is bullshit, but, like, I'm sure there is truth in there somewhere. And I'm sure, like, some of the things he might have said, he did say, or she claims she said he did say, and there's no excuse for saying this stuff, but in his stupid eyes, one of the things she brings up was when she had to give up her child because it was going to kill her if she were to keep this child. So he went to the hospital and he stayed with her overnight and he slept at the foot of the bed and he was there with her. And the doctor comes in, her mom's there, he's there, and she's there. And according to her, the thing he says was, "So when can I fuck her again?" or something like that. Now, yeah, to everybody, every normal person, you don't really say that, but to a comedian, and I'm not excusing what he said at all as an excuse, but to him at the time, he probably meant it as a coping mechanism.
He was trying to cope with that sort of event with humor, and the humor was poorly timed.
And that's similar to what went on with James Gunn. He said some stupid things. He didn't mean it as a serious thing. It was just a stupid, terrible joke, but people took it the wrong way. And again, he shouldn't have said that stuff. Like, that's not something you say in a situation like that. It doesn't excuse it, but, like, it's such a weird situation between him and her right now. And so I'm glad to see he's coming back. I'm glad to see that, in my eyes, AMC did the right thing by, like I said, stepping back, not officially firing him. All of his shows and everything, all of his talking withs are still recorded and they're still in the vault, and they will release them, barring this is an appropriate thing. Like, they didn't just straight up say he's done and none of his stuff's ever going on air again.
Yeah, and because it's one of those things, like, until some sort of actual proof is out there, like, nobody really knows what side of it was telling the truth.
Yeah,
but.
And it's hard to say what people are more angry about, because that whole essay had so many points of like anger towards him with how he acted towards her, things he did to her, and then the blacklisting her. But
which the one thing I can say about the blacklisting, and again, I don't know anything about it really, but apparently she was cheating on him with somebody that he had been working with, which in that case, I probably would have gotten her blacklisted too.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't excuse somebody for blacklisting somebody, but
like I get that one at least. Out of all the things that were done, like, that is the most kind of human reaction to something like that.
Yeah, but she also says she has proof that he blacklisted her, and he's claimed that he didn't. She has not released that proof. That is something you need to release.
You know,
you don't need proof of everything else. That's all he said, she said. But if you're going to say that this dude ruined your career by blacklisting you, you need to show proof of that.
I mean, as soon as you release something like she did, like, she should have just released the proof at the same time. Yeah, because at that point, it really is just, it's tons of people on both sides. Because, like, if you look at, if you go on Twitter and, like, search Chris Hardwick, it's just post after post of people either shitting on him or saying that he did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And anytime that Chloe posts anything on social media, it's people either commending her or shitting all over her. It's like...
Yeah.
And right after she did it, it was a bunch of people either calling her a liar or saying that Hardwick was a piece of shit. So...
Yeah, it's...
Like, it's all... I mean, it's between the two of them. Like, they're the only two that really know what was going on.
Yeah.
Regardless of what some third-party bystander may have seen. But, like, until... Like, honestly, like, if there's proof of it, then, yeah, he deserves to be fired. If there's no proof, though, like, you can't fire somebody just because somebody said they did mean things to them.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the shitty part. Like, if other people came out and started saying that, like, if his wife was saying, oh, no, yeah, he's a shitty person, I don't want to be married to him, then, like, that's a totally different case when you have two people corroborating it.
And that's the thing. Like, we have one person saying this guy did this thing, and how many girlfriends and now a wife has he had in his life that I think other exes of his have come out and said he was a great boyfriend. I can't remember who it was, but another one of his exes came out and said, like, he treated her with the most respect. Like, and I'm just like, there's maybe something wrong there. There might be a major mental disconnect between the two.
Yeah, I just looked it up, and it looks like some of his exes have said that he didn't do anything to them. So.
Yeah, and he was a sweetheart. So
who knows?
Who knows? She might think she's right in what she did, but maybe that's what happened in her head, and that's the way she felt. and that's not what he meant to do.
Yeah, like
And
eventually stuff. If there's really proof, eventually it'll come out.
Yeah.
And at that point, that's when everyone can actually like light the torches and get off the pitchforks for real.
Yeah.
Going along in a similar vein, the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy put out a statement about James Gunn.
Yeah, they released a statement 10 days later, 10 days after he was fired, saying that they waited 10 days for a reason.
Yeah, it gave them all time to
like
discuss
and
it
talk
and think about everything, and every main actor on there signed it. So you have Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper, Zoe Saldana, Vin Diesel, Sean Gunn, who is he's one of the
Reapers.
Yeah, there you go. He's one of the Reapers. He also did all of the in-person stuff for Rocket.
Yeah.
Palm Clemteef, Karen Gillan, Dave Bautista, and Michael Rooker.
Did you see Palm's signature?
Yeah.
It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. I love it.
Yeah, so I'm literally looking at it right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, they all signed this, and I think all of them actually shared it on different social medias.
Yeah.
Like, Chris Pratt in particular put something along the lines of, I don't agree with what he said years ago, but I know that he's a good man, and I want to see him reinstated as director for Guardians Volume 3.
Yeah.
And, like, that was the impression that all of them gave, is, like, James is a good guy. Like, he said some stupid shit. He's since apologized for that stupid shit. He has not started any, like, ruckus over this. He's just kind of quietly, like, been letting it happen.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But that's basically what the letter says too, that they were shocked by his abrupt firing, and they don't think that anything he said in the past should be held against him now. So,
yeah.
Whether that has any effect whatsoever, who knows? Probably not, because Disney is such a big corporation, and all these actors are under contract. Like, it's not like they can all just refuse to work. At least I assume, like, I assume their contracts are written in such a way that they can't just, like, no, fuck you guys, we're not doing it.
I mean, I'm sure they'd have to pay something if they were to do that. They'd have to pay a fine of some sort.
Yeah, and but the fine is probably I'm sure Disney has their team of lawyers write these things up in such a way that it's better for the actor to just fucking grit their teeth and bear it than try and get out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so, like, good on them for, like, sticking up for somebody that, like, they are close to.
Yeah.
And I do hope to see James Gunn, like, get reinstated for the movie, because I think he had a vision for these movies, and having them continue with that same person in charge, makes sense.
Yeah, like, they need to continue on with what happened.
I mean, he's already turned in a draft of the script, so if somebody else takes over, they obviously have that draft to work with, but, like, I don't know.
It's not going to be the same.
Yeah, exactly. So Kelsey Grammer is apparently looking to reboot Frasier.
I saw stuff on this. I didn't read any of it because I really didn't care about Frasier.
What? Everyone liked Frasier.
I mean, I didn't.
I guess you were probably just too young for it at the time.
And I'm not an intellectual. Like,
I mean, that is very true. But
neither are you.
More so than you. I mean, and really, like, that show was not an intellectual show.
50-50.
I mean, it was a spinoff of Cheers.
I know.
But and honestly, I didn't realize it until earlier when I was looking stuff up. Like, Kelsey Grammer was in, like, his early 30s in Cheers.
Really?
Yeah.
He looked older.
I know.
He's always looked kind of older.
That's what the 80s did to people. Everyone in the 80s looked way older than they actually were.
Yeah.
But apparently, if this reboot happens, it'll happen outside of Seattle, which is where Frasier took place.
Okay.
And it would probably have a different cast outside, and with, like, Frasier being, like, the connective tissue between the two series. Whether that means, like, obviously some characters would have to show up. Like, I think the guy that played the dad is still alive. I'm honestly not sure.
He'd have to be, like, 80s, 90s.
No, Betty White's 96.
I know, she's old.
But the brother, like, the guy that played his brother is still around.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure there are plenty of characters that could be in it, especially, like, characters that are family. Like, why wouldn't they? And I didn't realize this. So that show it aired on NBC just like Cheers did.
For
like 11 years or something like that.
Oh yeah, it had a long run. I know that much.
Like, 11 seasons.
It was always on, but it could run forever. And I've considered watching it to fill in like my sitcom time because it's got 11 seasons. Like that's because there's no more How I Met Your Mother or Scrubs on Netflix. I need to fill in that time somehow.
Parks and Recreation.
There's only so many times you can watch Parks and Recreations in a month before you have to watch something.
Nope,
else.
You can just keep watching it.
I mean, I used to do that with Top Gear, but that's not even on Netflix anymore. So.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ran from 93 to 2004.
She said I didn't realize it was like I thought maybe it started sooner, but yeah, that makes sense.
Because I think 93 is when Cheers ended, actually.
I have no idea.
I'm looking it up. Yep. Cheers ran from 82 to 93.
Jeez.
So they literally both ran for 11 seasons.
Nice.
Like, if Kelsey Grammer can squeeze out another series that runs for 11 seasons, like, good on him.
Yeah. That's, I mean, what, 11 seasons? That's over 250 episodes?
So the Cheers ran for 275, including 3 double-length episodes and a triple-length finale.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find Frasier on here quickly. Frasier ran for 264 episodes.
Okay, yeah. Maybe he can break that hurdle and get his 300.
Maybe.
Like,
Who
that
knows?
would be nice to see. Like, him getting his 300th episode on a show. He got 275 episodes. That's close.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
you just need another season plus like
just
2
another
episodes.
Season. Like,
well, a season is 200 or is usually 24, 22 to 24.
So they would need a 2. But if I don't know if they're considering the double length episodes as 2 different episodes or not. But if you consider the double and triple length episodes as
that's true. That would probably be.
He would at he would be at 279 instead of 275.
Oh, I actually have a feeling that those double and triple length ones probably just count as like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't realize that show was actually made by CBS.
I didn't know that either.
So CBS distributes it, and NBC aired it. So just because, so it might, if this happens, it might not happen on NBC. It may happen on a different network or even like a Netflix.
Okay.
Kind of the way Fuller House got picked up by them. But it's kind of it's a trend right now. I mean, this year alone, you had Will and Grace came back and Roseanne came back.
Yeah.
And both of them are continuing. Like,
oh yeah, Will and Grace got huge numbers.
Yeah, so that'll be back next year, and then the reboot of the reboot for Roseanne is happening without Roseanne.
Yeah.
Which I assume that's still supposed to come out in the fall. I think because they got it done so quickly that like they're still on production schedule for it. At least the last I heard.
I don't know.
But so one more of these shows, like, not that surprising.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that they haven't done Friends yet. I think that's mostly because a lot of the actors don't want to do it.
When did Friends end?
2004. Just like Frasier.
Not yet. Friends will come back in, 2004, it's 2018. Friends will come back in probably 5 or 6 years. With all the kids. With the triplets, Phoebe's nieces and nephews, Ross and Rachel's daughter, Ross's son, and
Didn't they
Chandler.
just write Ross's son out of it at a certain point?
No, he was always in it.
Even by the end of the series?
He always had a son. It's just there were episodes he just didn't show up.
Okay, for some reason I thought at a certain point in the series they just kind of nixed, like, not that they like wrote it so like he never had a son, but that they just never brought the son up or showed him again.
Oh, after Ross and Rachel had their daughter, there was like the episode after like she was born and they were in the hospital. Ross's dad was like, "Oh, my first grandchild, I'm so happy," and Ross was like, "I have a son." He's like, "Oh, right, yeah, Benjamin." So they just didn't.
Yeah.
They wrote him off, but didn't write him off. Like he was still there, but just not.
I never really watched a ton of Friends because I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, my theory is 20 years after the end of the series, they'll have a new series with all the kids.
So, I mean, the only thing I can say to that is I know from what I've heard anyway, most of the cast just doesn't want to do it, like the original cast. So I guess that, like, doing that is possible.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, you figure, like, Frasier ended in 2004. I think Will and Grace ended right around then, too, originally.
Yeah.
I mean, Roseanne ended in the 90s, and so did Full House, so those were the two sort of, like, bigger jumps. Let's see. What was the original run for Will and Grace? 2003.
Okay.
No, sorry, 2006.
Yeah.
It had two. Wow, 04 to 06. It was actually aired in HD.
Nice.
Yeah, 1080i.
Nice.
It's all right. You want 1080p?
Back then it was nice, but yeah,
it is still aired in 1080i. So
yeah, that's my fan theory. At least is that they'll bring it back at the 20-year anniversary with all the kids being the main cast, because no one cares about the regular cast anymore, because they're no longer just friends; they're family. So they'll have Friends Redux with all the kids instead.
Friendlier,
probably.
I don't know if that show would be the same though.
It absolutely wouldn't be the same, because the reason Friends was so big was because of the time that it was released in, and because it's the time between like where there were no cell phones, and you still like that's why it was so popular, is because people watch it and they could connect to it. And now people these days, they're not going to act like those Friends did, because I think there's a YouTube thing, or just
there's
Tumblr
what if Friends were now?
What if Friends had cell phones, and what if Friends had current times? And it's like, oh, my problems are I can't get in contact with my friend. Hey, now I have a cell phone, I can call you.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. You know that Mowgli movie that Andy Serkis was involved in? The Jungle Book, the other live action Jungle Book?
Yeah.
So that was supposed to come out in theaters in October.
Okay.
Now it's going to premiere on Netflix next year instead.
Interesting.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Probably a good thing for them, a bad thing for everybody else.
I mean, it's a good thing for Netflix, you mean?
Well, yeah, maybe. They can cut down on advertising and whatnot. That's a good thing for everybody except us, because it's probably a bad movie and no one's going to watch it, so.
Yeah. I mean, it might not be a bad movie. Andy Serkis makes good content, so.
Yeah, but is Andy Serkis every character in the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
No, he's not.
Then
there's a human child at the very least.
Yeah, so.
But I mean, even just stuff that he is involved with, directing and all, tends to be solid at the very least. And when it comes to motion capture, there is a reason that he is the consultant for every movie that does motion capture at this point.
Yeah.
He is the guy when it comes to that. But yeah, so sometime in 2019 instead of in October, it'll be on Netflix.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. And I mean, it's got a cast: Christian Bale, Cate Blanchett, Naomi Harris, Benedict Cumberbatch, and others. I
mean, Netflix has some really good content on there, so I'm not saying it's a bad. I'm not it could be a great movie.
Netflix doesn't have a lot of great movies, though.
They do fall a little short with great movies. I mean, I've seen a few that were Netflix ones that were pretty good. What was that? I can't even remember the name of the movie that I watched a couple weeks ago.
Tao?
Yeah, Tao.
The one that had a 12 on Rotten Tomatoes?
No, that didn't have that low of a score on Rotten Tomatoes, did it?
Yeah, it did.
No, it was a different one that had a low score on Rotten Tomatoes. That was How It Ends, had a 12 on Rotten Tomatoes. Tao was doing pretty decent, if I remember correctly.
I think you're wrong.
How It Ends had a 2% on Rotten Tomatoes. I remember that.
It's TAU, right?
Yeah.
And it involved a triangle with an eye in it?
Yeah.
It's got a 20% on Rotten Tomato.
That's stupid. It was a good movie.
51% audience score, but that's still rotten popcorn.
Good movie.
I don't know. I think you just have bad taste in movies.
No. People just have bad taste in movies.
So
I have good taste.
Episode 9 has had its cast announced.
Yeah, I saw that. It's pretty much everyone you had expected.
But so some of the surprises, quote unquote, like air quotes. Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
So he'll be back in some form, whether it's a flashback or a Force Ghost, who knows?
Or both.
Maybe he's not even dead. maybe he learned how to teleport and he just can't bring his cloak with him.
That could possibly happen.
He force projected himself across the universe so hard that his physical body just moved.
Yeah.
Billy D. Williams, we already had heard, is going to be back as Lando, which is exciting.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be using unused footage of Carrie Fisher from Force Awakens.
Which is going to be interesting. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm interested to see how they do it.
So it'll probably be cut. They'll probably take a couple of scenes and cut them in just the right way to make it work for what they're doing. The good part is, like, they're getting to write the script around that.
Yeah.
Or they got to write the script around that.
Yeah, they already have the scenes, so they know what they need to do to write it around and work it all together.
So she didn't pass away in the middle of filming or, like, just before filming began.
Yeah.
So it isn't a situation where they then have to just try and figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, they got to write the story knowing that, like, she was not going to be able to reprise the role.
Yeah.
And found a way to still include the character in the movie.
Which, I mean, you kind of had to. You had to still include her in it somehow.
Yeah, and apparently they actually got her daughter, Billie Lourd's, approval before doing it.
Oh, I know.
Or blessing, I should say.
I think she helped some of the, re-recording of some of her stuff in the last one as well, in The Last Jedi. I think she helped a little bit, not much.
I mean, she's been in both movies.
Yeah, she's the blonde-haired girl that works, I think, directly with Princess Leia.
Yeah, I believe so, because I don't know if she had it in Last Jedi, but in Force Awakens, she had the buns.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and they also had, like, Kerry Russell is going to be in it, which I think we had talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Billy D. Williams back.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Like, Lando's always been, like, a cool character in that universe, and Billy D. Williams is literally just a cool character.
Yeah.
So, Spider-Man, PS4.
Yeah.
It's gone gold.
Awesome.
I mean, that means nothing anymore.
I know.
But Insomniac made a big deal of it. You know the meme where it's the old Spider-Man sitting behind the desk?
Yeah.
And it's usually like one of those, like, I don't give a fuck memes.
Yeah.
They did that, but they did it in engine with like their modeled Spider-Man with like the white suit and everything like that, and just had him sitting behind the desk for the announcement of them going gold.
Nice.
So, like, good on Insomniac for knowing how the internet works.
We're gonna have to check that out.
It's exciting though, because at least that means that outside of patches, the Game Pass cert with Sony.
Yeah.
Which easier for a technically first party game, since Insomniac is not a first party studio, but this is a first party game, I believe, is how it's working.
Yeah.
So it's a little easier for them to pass cert. Like, they probably don't have to jump through as many hoops. But, like, that certification process is brutal. And that at least means that it is a playable game with all of the stuff that it needs to be a playable game.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean things won't be broken. Doesn't mean there won't be a big day one patch. But at least we have a game.
Yeah, and that game's looking to be better and better every time I see something.
Yeah,
so
definitely. So I don't know if you remember back at E3 during the Xbox thing. Phil Spencer mentioned that they were working on their next gen hardware.
Yeah.
And it's rumored to be called the Scarlet, or like the
project name.
The project name is Scarlet,
yeah.
Or at least that's what people are thinking it's called. Some other information has been leaked, and it looks like it might actually be two different pieces of hardware.
Interesting.
There may be a traditional console like all the other Xboxes have been, but there also may be a streaming box that's separate from that. For that streaming service that not Game Pass, but for the actual streaming service that they were talking about during that E3 presentation.
Yeah.
The rumors are that it's actually going to be more expensive than your standard consoles are right now. So maybe it'll be more in line with like where the Xbox One X is.
Yeah.
Which is most likely to have a beefy enough system to kind of offset some of the latency issues you're going to have inherently from streaming a game.
Okay.
At least streaming, especially because they're going to want to stream current gen stuff. They're not going to want to stream, original Xbox games.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know Sony makes do, I think, with PS Now, which isn't great, but it's all, I believe PS Now is all PS2 and older. Maybe PS3 games are available on there, but I don't think there's anything PS4 up on it. So
I have no idea. I don't have PS Now. I don't look into it.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
Like, every so often somebody signs up for a trial of it and then immediately cancels because it's garbage.
Yeah.
But the potential rumored name for this whole thing is going to be Scarlet Cloud.
Okay.
Which, I mean, will never actually be the name.
It's not going to be the Xbox Scarlet Cloud.
Or, I mean, like, the system itself just won't be the Xbox Scarlet.
No.
But it looks like Microsoft, if these rumors are true anyway, is hoping to make their money through like subscription service rather than necessarily through hardware.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's how Sony does too. Like they're making more money off of the game sales than the hardware sales.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if that's the case, the hardware can be as cheap as it can be without them obviously losing money on it.
Yeah.
But
that's neat.
I mean, it doesn't, other than the streaming aspect, it doesn't sound like it would be all that different from the Xbox One's initial vision. I forget what podcast I was listening to, but one of the podcasts, they were talking that Microsoft was just kind of a little too ahead of itself with their original vision for the Xbox One, and they did a poor job of marketing it.
Yeah.
Because like now, 5 years later, people are far more inclined to accept something that is, digital only or primarily digital with an always online mentality.
Yeah.
Obviously not everybody, because there's still parts of the country that just don't have reliable internet for that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's the problem with that stuff in general, is not even just the country, but around the world, there's places that have, like, all of Australia has shitty internet.
Yeah, no, I said in the country. I didn't mean internationally.
Yeah.
And actually so I remember, it was What's Good Games is the podcast I was listening to. They'll talk about it. One of the girls that were on this week, she is from Australia.
Yeah.
And she was saying that, like, when she goes home to visit her family, it takes, like, days to upload a short YouTube video.
Yeah.
Because the internet is so bad there.
Yeah, it's terrible there.
But yeah, so that's interesting. And I'm curious to see what if any of this ends up being true.
We'll just have to, like, hold on to our butts.
Yeah. I'm all for, like, trying streaming stuff and for buying digital games. I don't know that I would want to buy a console that is streaming only, though.
Yeah, I'm not big on getting streaming stuff. I'd rather own things, because I like looking at my bookshelf or something and being like, well, this one, I want to play this. And, like, picking out and putting it in there and playing it. But I'm also, at the same time, I'm lazy. One of the main reasons why I started playing No Man's Sky is because I didn't want to get up and take out the disc and put it in the other disc. And then come tomorrow night, or tonight, I don't know when, take out that disc and put in the old disc.
Stop buying physical games, just buy digital. Problem solved.
But I like having physical games.
Why?
Like I said, so I can physically see it on my bookshelf, go through, and
here's what you do. Ready? Buy them digitally. Spend $20. Buy a box of DVDs, of DVD cases, or Blu-ray cases in this case. You can go online and print out the box art for free. Make your own cases to put on the wall so you can see what games there are, but you don't have to get up. You can just go onto the PlayStation and play them.
But you see, I'd probably still have to get up and figure it out. Like, I'd have to get up and look through.
Or get an app. Get an app to categorize all your games. That's what I have.
But that again, like, it's just different. It's weird. I'm weird.
Like, you're literally looking at reasons to not play different games. That's what you're doing right now.
No, I'm literally, like, I'm not saying, like...
You're giving me excuses so that all you can ever play is Monster Hunter.
No, I'm just saying that sometimes when I don't want to, like, when I don't know what to play, I'd like to be able to look at it all in a row and not have to scroll through a page. Like, I like it all in front of me. I'm weird like that. I'm weird. And I like... Having so much things on a little screen just messes with my eyes.
I mean, you can also just go into the console and go to your games and sort it by whatever you want and see everything.
I have so many games in there because of the free stuff that I get lost. I do. I get lost in how many games I have on my library that I can play. But I'd have to install it and shit like that.
But I mean, you'd have to do that with a disc anyway, too.
Yeah, but if I have the disc, usually it's already installed.
Yeah, only if it's in the console, though.
No, I mean, I'm saying, like... I've probably played enough games out of the discs that I own that it's already been installed.
Yeah, but so
I don't uninstall stuff.
If you start just buying your stuff digitally, it'll also be installed.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you're buying it digitally and like you're sitting at work, you're like, oh man, I really want to play such and such when I get home. You can literally download it from your office.
Yeah, I know. I'm just weird.
Like I did that with No Man's Sky. After I realized the update came out, I was sitting at work and I went onto the site on my phone and downloaded it, and it was ready to go when I got home.
Yeah. I'm just weird.
Anyway, Portal 2 writer rejoins Valve.
Okay. That's
the headline anyway. Jay Pinkerton, he left Valve last year, the year before? Last year. Yeah, it was last year. He was the writer for Portal 2, Left 4 Dead, the whole Left 4 Dead series, and Team Fortress 2? Yeah, Team Fortress 2.
Yes.
Not Half-Life. Yeah, that's it. Portal 2, Team Fortress 2, Left 4 Dead.
Okay.
He was a writer for those. He's back at Valve now. I don't know if that means that they're going to be doing a sequel to one of those.
I mean, a new Portal would be awesome. A new Left 4 Dead would be awesome.
But here's the problem. Both of them already have 2 games, and Valve don't do triples.
I know. Trust me, I know. So, it's going to be Left 4 Portal. It's going to be a Portal Left 4 Dead crossover, and it's going to be its own IP, and it's not going to be a sequel to either of the others, and they're going to get 2 of those, where you're running around shooting portals into zombies that are then sucking in other zombies into the portals and dropping.
Yeah, the one good thing is, like, this is pointing in the direction that Valve is going to start doing games again.
Yeah.
Which is something Gabe Newell said late last year, early this year, something like that.
I remember that.
So, I mean, that's cool, because, like, Valve has made some really great, really influential games in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, Half-Life. Like, that.
Yeah.
That is one of the most influential first-person shooters ever.
It is.
So...
I go back to it and play it every once in a while, too. Like, even now, I'll go back and play it.
I have never been a Half-Life fan, so, like, I've never really played either of them. Or any of them, I should say, because there were those weird episodes that they only did 2 of also.
Yeah.
But, you know, like Counter-Strike and Portal, stuff like that, like, they were great.
Yeah.
I did try to play Half-Life 2 a few times, but I was never good with PC controls for first person, really for anything. I'm not good at controlling something with the mouse and keyboard.
Like W to move around and this.
No, look, I understand. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good for one. Like, and you also have to remember, like, I did not kind of warm up to first person shooters until the last few years.
I know.
Prior to that, I really didn't like that genre at all.
I've always loved first persons on the PC. Like, whenever I had PCs, like, they were decent enough to play them, but just, like, my PC's now too old to play any of the new stuff, so I'm not even going to bother with it.
I didn't mind first-person shooters when it was only the X-axis.
Yeah.
Like, when you could only really go left and right, I was better. As soon as you add the up and down to it, though, and then also spinning, I lose track too easily.
Well, maybe you shouldn't lose track.
Yeah, it's me. Like, it doesn't bother me because that's why I don't have a gaming PC, because I don't like playing games on a PC.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I would really like to see another Portal game. Or
yeah,
I know people loved Left 4 Dead. Like, even one of those would be good.
Oh, Left 4 Dead was such an awesome concept.
I doubt we'll ever see another Half-Life.
We never will see another Half-Life. Like,
people will keep claiming that it's coming, but
I would love it if it came. It's not coming.
I forget. I don't remember where I heard this or saw this or read this, but it's got to be over a year ago now. Somebody made a really good point. The first 2 Half-Life games did things that revolutionized gaming.
Yeah.
A third Half-Life isn't going to do that until there is something that can be revolutionized.
Yeah.
Which, like, VR, maybe, if Valve can, like, knock out, like, a truly immersive, workable VR for Half-Life.
Yeah.
That could be very cool. But, like, even Resident Evil 7 worked in VR fairly well, but not well enough that it was, groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we will see what comes of, him being back at Valve.
Yeah.
And that was actually all the news.
That's it.
Unless you had anything.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I had anything.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Awesome.
Let's take a quick break.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And we'll be right back.
All right.
And we're back.
Hey!
So what have you been up to?
Oh, stuff and things. It was actually a fairly busy week for me, like, gaming-wise, I guess. I decided to take at least the week off of Monster Hunter.
Thank fucking
Well,
God.
it's because, the past week and a half, more like 2 weeks-ish or so, but I haven't been playing more video games, I've just been watching more stuff. But it's because, like, they had their summer festival, I got everything out of it that I couldn't get really much anything else out of it, and then the new weekly stuff came out on, Thursday and Friday last week, and they're not worth doing. So, like, the Friday is the weekly quests, like what's it called, investigations, which I can get done by next Friday and get the rewards for them. And then the Thursday was the weekly event quest, which you can do multiple times throughout the week, and they're just not worth doing. So I'm just like, I can just relax and chill. So I didn't really do a lot of Monster Hunter, but I did catch a Mewtwo on Pokemon Go.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I went out a couple weeks ago to Red Bank, and we played for a little bit, and there was a Lugia raid. So we did the Lugia raid. We caught the Lugia, surprisingly. And I got an invite for expert, I guess, an EX raid pass for Mewtwo at Red Bank Battlefield. This was on Thursday last week. I get into work, and I'm keeping track on time and everything, because from what I hear, these raids start as soon as the egg hatches. So there'll be a 45-minute, an hour counter with a silver egg. Once that egg hatches, everybody's already there waiting to do this quest. So I work in Mount Laurel. I have to go to Red Bank. It's a 25-minute drive. I get an hour-long lunch. I took it, and I drove down. So I left I think the raid was at 1 o'clock. I left at 12:35, drove down to Red Bank. I get there, and everyone's already there waiting. I have like 3 minutes left to spare. And we're all just standing there just talking and like catching things and doing our thing. As soon as Mewtwo hatches, some stupid kid's like, hey guys, let's team up. Because when you're doing raids based on your team and how many people of your team are in that raid, you get more chances of catching Mewtwo. Everyone's like, dude, why didn't you bring this up 5 minutes ago when we were all here? Let's just fight the thing. I'm like, yeah, I can't chill much longer than what I'm doing now. So I'm just going into a thing. So I go into a thing, battled Mewtwo, I caught a Mewtwo. And I have another expert pass, EX pass, for this Friday.
So, I have two questions.
Sure.
First one actually about the game.
Okay.
When you say you battled Mewtwo, is there any actual battle, or are you just throwing Pokeballs hoping to catch him?
No, it's a battle. It's a raid.
You have to remember, I stopped playing Pokemon Go 2 weeks after it came out.
And you have to remember, I've talked about raids before on this.
It's just like Monster Hunter. It's in one ear, out the other.
So, up to 20 people per fight, you get 6 Pokemon. It's a gym battle, but with people against one Pokemon.
Okay.
And so, up to 20 people per fight, you go in there.
But you were fighting by yourself.
I'm fighting with 20 people against Mewtwo.
You just weren't on a team with 20 people.
No, I'm on a team with 20 people, but it's 20 people that are Instinct, Valor, and Mystics.
Okay, so if you were to team up with your actual
all
team,
Instincts, I would have more catch chance.
So you're
higher catch rate.
So you were just randomly assigned a group. You didn't actually go in with a group.
I just jumped into a group.
Okay.
And so yeah, you sit there and you battle through, and for raids, it's you get a certain amount of time. So I think it's like under 3 minutes.
So I thought that the raid fights were against like other stuff, and then if you beat the raid, you then just got a chance to throw Pokeballs at the...
Yeah.
So you're not fighting a Mewtwo then?
No, I was fighting a Mewtwo.
Okay, so I thought it was against like whatever the gym Pokemon was.
No.
And then you just throw Pokeballs at the...
No, it's... So, it's after 8 o'clock, so I don't think there's any raids going on right now. But if there's any raids going on, I can show you.
Like I've seen what the raids look like from far away.
There's one big Pokemon there, and it could be anything from a Magikarp to whatever legendary is going on, which right now is Registeel. And so you go in with up to 20 other people, and you fight Registeel or Magikarp or whoever is there. You fight him. If you get him down to 0 health before the timer runs out, you get a chance to catch him based on... You usually get 5 Pokeballs from the start, and they're Premier Balls, the white and red balls. So you get 5 of those from the start. Then how well you did, you get a couple of bonus. How many of your teammates were on your team, you get bonus. Any friends that you were with, you get a bonus. And if the gym was your color or not, you get a bonus. And based on that, you then go and you fight. You go and you try to capture... there's no raids. You try to capture with just the Premier Balls. So I think the most chances I've gotten were 11. The least I've gotten were 5.
Okay. And
you can use your berries, so they have golden raspberries, which are better than the regular raspberries, which makes it better chances of catching it. And you just, at that point, it's just throwing Pokeballs at Mewtwo and trying to catch it.
Okay. So, other question.
Okay.
If it's 25 minutes both ways.
Uh-huh.
And you get an hour lunch.
Uh-huh.
Did you really just spend 10 minutes there and then drive back? Or were you late?
It's about 23 to 30 minutes based on traffic. I got there in 23 minutes. I fight Mewtwo, and I leave. I book it out there. As soon as I catch Mewtwo, I start walking to my car. So I was there for maybe 5 minutes tops, 5 to 7 minutes tops, and I booked it back to work. On my way back, I used my phone to order Chick-fil-A, so I could just go into Chick-fil-A, grab lunch, and go into work. But my stupid ass, I order to pick up through drive-thru instead of pick up in there. So it's 1 o'clock at a Chick-fil-A.
You had to wait in line.
I had to wait in line, so it was pointless for me to even order online. And number 2, I ordered from the wrong Chick-fil-A. So I ended up having to cancel my order and go into work. I was 8 minutes late coming back from work.
Okay, that's not so bad then.
No, it's not too bad at all.
Did you not get a lunch though?
I didn't get to eat lunch. So, I mean, I had apples and I had lunch at work, but my supervisor doesn't like me eating at my desk, eating full meals, quotes, full meals at my desk, so I couldn't sit there and eat spaghetti at my desk, but I could have eaten like a sandwich or something.
Oh, okay.
But I was happy.
Congratulations
on
your Mewtwo.
I was literally shaking because I was like, I was risking a lot going to get this Mewtwo because it's a long drive and catching a Mewtwo and driving 20 minutes. If I didn't catch this Mewtwo, I would have been super upset. But I happen to have another Mewtwo raid on Friday, so hopefully I get a second one. And I was talking to Shawhead, I'm like, hey, you want a Mewtwo for your birthday? He's like, sure. And I'm like, great, we just have to be next to each other and have 80,000 Stardust each, so I can trade it to you.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how to trade.
I thought you could trade long distances.
I think you have to be pretty close. I
thought you just had to be friends.
I don't know. I haven't tried to trade with anybody. But they've incorporated lucky Pokemon, which, like, if you've had a Pokemon for a long time and you trade it, it could turn lucky from the trade. And that just means that it takes less Stardust and Candy to power it up, the more powerful it gets.
Yeah, based on what I've seen other people saying online, I don't think you need to be close to somebody to trade.
Okay.
I think as long as they're on your friends list, you can trade with them.
I thought I heard somebody say like 100 feet or something like that.
I could be entirely wrong, but at the same time, like, I don't think the game is smart enough to know how close you are to somebody.
I don't want a friend box. Hold on. Trying to find somebody. Okay. Yeah, it looks like you can only trade with friends who are nearby.
Oh, okay. I thought you could just trade with people.
No, you have to be nearby. I think it's within 100 feet.
But other than Pokemon Go, what else have you been up to?
I actually started watching Girl Meets World, and I'm almost done watching Girl Meets World.
It's not a bad show.
It's not. I'm upset that it's only 3 seasons.
It had some episodes that were far better than others.
Oh yeah.
Like when they went to the camp in like season 2, or the ranch.
Yeah.
Like that was like a good like story driven section of the show.
Yeah.
But then like there's a lot of other stuff where they're like mostly one-offs and they just don't really work.
Oh, their airing order is so wacky on Netflix. I just watched the Christmas episode, or no, I just watched the Halloween episode 3 episodes after the Christmas episode.
So that show aired very strangely because it aired on Disney.
Yeah.
So it did not run just, here's 22 episodes over 22 weeks. It was, here's an episode in September. Our next episode is in March.
Okay.
So part of that is actually how it aired.
Yeah, because
like there were weird gaps.
There were like a few episodes in episode 1 or season 1 where they should have been over 2 episodes prior. Like that one of the episodes was the season finale, but then there were still like 2 more episodes. It's so weird, but it's not a bad show, and I do wish that like they continued on with it. Maybe if like Netflix picked it up or something like that.
I mean,
another
it's been
season.
over, I think, for like a couple years now.
No, it only ended last year, if not 2016.
Yeah, I thought it was 2016. Oh no, it was 2017.
Yeah,
look at that.
Like it was a little like Riley is a little too dumb for the show, especially for her parents being her parents. I'm shocked that she's that dumb. It's almost as if she should be one of Eric's children instead. But
she is very much Corey.
Oh, she's absolutely Corey. She's 100% Corey.
And I think if the show could have gone on, she would have actually probably matured a lot the way Corey did, where like he got goofier as the show went on.
Yeah.
But then like by the time like this happened, he was like he's a mostly responsible adult.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's a shame that the show didn't play longer. And I mean, it was a little too Disney at times, but... actually, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the page right now. After 4 months of searching for a viable network on May 3rd, 2017, co-creator Jacobs confirmed that he was unable to come to an agreement with any outlet to continue the show, thus effectively ending the series.
Oh. So they did try to find additional networks to air it. Like, the thing is, like, I was reading why it got taken down. It was because it wasn't getting the child views. It was more of a show for, like, more adults and teenagers watched it than the children did, and they wanted more children to watch it than teens and adults.
Yeah.
But it's like, teens and adults are like, this is my childhood. Like,
well, do you understand why, though? Like, do you understand why they wanted the younger demographic?
Well, it's absolutely a younger show. Like, it's...
No, that has nothing to do with it. It's advertising. It aired on Disney at like 8 o'clock. All of the commercials were things geared towards children, 8 to 12.
Yeah.
Or maybe even a little older than that, like maybe like 13 to 14.
Yeah.
Adults and older teens, none of that stuff appealed to them, and Disney Channel is not going to get advertising for things that would appeal to them.
Yeah.
So they were effectively hemorrhaging money by making that show.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but it was just like, it was a pretty good show, and I'm sure if they could have brought it further, like, it would have gotten better. Like, the story arc where Maya turned into Riley, I was like, that's a little ridiculous. But, I mean, I guess I can see how that could actually happen. And, honestly, the episodes I hated the most were the Halloween episodes.
Oh, yeah, those were always the worst.
They were just boring and stupid and just had nothing to do with anything because they were supernatural, and I was like, I don't like that. But I do love that the woman in Season 1, she was owner of Rand Enterprises.
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
And I was like, is this part of the MCU? Are they in Marvel territory now? But yeah, it's an enjoyable show. And besides that, and lastly, I guess, I played some No Man's Sky. I went back after their new update, and I played No Man's Sky to see how it was. And I don't really know all the new updates that they had in this most recent patch. I know they've added a ton of stuff. I went back and played it after they added base building and the freighters. But I don't really know what they've done over the past, year and a half since then?
Yeah, they've done stuff.
Or it's actually probably, it's been about a year. It's been 2 years since launch, I think. It's been about a year and a half since they did the freighters and things like that. I know they added multiplayer aspects to it where you can actually run into people now. There's a third-person run-around mode, which I don't really like using it that much. I'd rather be first-person. But you can be third-person in the ship, which is neat, and that's something to play around with. I started playing on survival mode. Fuck, that's hard. It's the most ridiculously hard thing I've ever experienced in my life. I start off, because I started a new character, I started off on a frigid ice planet. And so immediately I was losing warmth, I was losing life support, and I didn't know what was going on. Because they have this whole intro game sequence, and I had nowhere to hide to warm up. So I needed to, rush and figure things out, and they're trying to teach you, you have to build this, you have to build that, you have to get these, and I'm like, I don't remember how to do any of this, and I'm dying every 5 minutes.
I mean, I didn't do survival, so I don't know if it was a little different there, but, the game walked me through building everything.
Oh, yeah, it did, but it walked me through building everything, but I had more of a countdown to whether or not I was going to survive.
So, just for comparison, I did not play on survival. I played just on normal.
Yeah.
The planet that I first woke up on when I started a new game was severely hot.
Yes.
So I was constantly losing life support, and the heat thing kept going down.
Yeah.
I found one cave I was able to sneak into, but it was still 400 whatever away from my ship.
Yeah.
So I had to run to the ship out in the heat, and I got there basically just before I died.
Yeah.
Got into the ship, and I probably still had 3/4 of my life support left, but my health, I had run out of heat shielding, so my health was just slowly decreasing.
Yeah.
And then I just kept jumping into the ship, seeing what it needed me to do, jumping out, running around the area to collect what I needed, jumping back in the ship to make it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of back and forth, and then I got to the point where I don't know did you have to fix the takeoff portion of your ship and the ion drive, I think?
Yeah.
So you had to make a fabricator, probably,
Yes.
right? To
Yeah.
do something. And then did you have to travel to get some sort of seal?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
had to do all that.
Okay, so it's the exact same steps, just on a different planet?
Yeah.
How far away was the place you had to go to get the seal? Do you remember?
Pretty far.
Yeah, mine was over 1,000, paces or whatever that measure of distance was. And I hit a storm on the way, like a heat storm. So you know how, it shows you the arrows for, how quickly your shit's going down?
Yeah.
And, normally, if it's just really hot or really cold, it's, 1, maybe 2 going down. This was 3, and it was going down, and it was, blinking really quickly.
Oh, yeah, I had that, too. That was nuts.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
I got lucky. I hit somewhere between, my ship and where the, settlement was, I found a random crate that had life support gel.
Yeah.
And I had harvested just enough of the stuff you needed to make more life support gel that I was able to keep fixing my life support.
Yeah.
But man.
Oh, I had that similar issue. I was running to get the thing that you need to use in the fabricator to make the pure patricite or whatever it is. And it started an intense ice and snowstorm. I got to the settlement and in one of the buildings in just enough time before I would have died. And my life support was still low. It's ridiculous how fast life support drops in survival mode, and I don't really know, I don't remember having to worry that much about life support when I first played the game.
I think that's one of the things that they changed up. Because I don't remember life support being that big of a deal either. I remember health being there.
Yeah.
But I think that is one of the things that they changed some.
I feel like in the original game, the life support system, you could charge it with more.
Yeah.
And this one is oxygen or life support gel or one other element that's only common on frigid areas. But I played that game a lot when it first came out. I had almost a full suit, so I was upgrading left and right and getting all this shit. I had an awesome gun that just had homing lasers and stuff like that. I was set. The only thing I had was a weak ship, and so I just needed to keep finding more ships to increase those.
Yeah, I remember you and Eric were finding crashed ships. I never found crashed ships to take.
There's in order to do that, you need to find the beacons, and there was a certain thing to search for, and it would point you towards a crashed ship, and that's what we would do. I think it's search for distress signal, and it would either be one of the settlement buildings that were all destroyed, or it would be a crashed ship.
Oh, okay, yeah, I never realized that.
Yeah, Eric had everything. He had max everything in that game. And I was like, that's nuts. But it was a fun game in the original run. I wanted more of a challenge because there wasn't really that much of a challenge in the original game.
And survival, there is one.
And survival, there is a huge one. Before you showed up, I ended up being able to get off the planet that I didn't think I was going to be able to get off of, fly to a space station. I bought 20 life support gels and a bunch of oxygen just so that I have it just in case.
Nice.
But right now the stupid thing is I'm running around with the life support gel. If I die, it's all gone. And my ship can only hold 5 per slot. So I need to increase my ship capacity to be able to put more of the life support gels in there. So for now I just got to keep an eye out and make sure I don't die and lose my 30 life support gels.
Yeah. So I have the same problem with the game that I had before. I don't like flying. The flying doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted that game to do. I want it to fly around space, and it just doesn't. It's not fun to fly around. The flying is honestly the worst part about that game. So I still want to mess around a little bit. I want to see what the unlimited building mode is like how much you can really just build in that game.
Yeah.
And I want to expand on some of the tools a little bit. I want to get that terrain tool and everything. Because I hadn't gotten that.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to put the amount of time that I put into the original release unless something really, really hits me. But I definitely want to see a little bit more of it.
Yeah, I mean, when I messed around with the freighters and the base building, it was kind of fun because it gave you more quests and things to branch out to do. But it was also confusing at the same time because you could eventually lose your ship. If you teleported wrong and you never went back to your ship, you can keep teleporting back and forth from your base to a space station. But you might be able to actually lose all that stuff if you go, like... I don't know, it was weird, but I think at one point I did lose my ship. And I had to figure out how to get back to the space station, which was 3 galaxies away.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Because that's how, like, you build a base on one planet, and that base obviously doesn't move. But like I said, there's teleporters that you can keep going in and out of to go back to that base and expand it more.
Yeah.
So just, you have to make sure you pick a planet that you want to build on that you want to keep going back to.
Yeah, I mean, I am not a big, like, base building person.
Yeah.
Like, I don't enjoy that aspect. That's why I never got into any of the Sims games or any of that sort of stuff. Like, but I just want to see kind of what the tools are like and mess with it a little bit.
Yeah, and it's pretty neat. It was interesting from what I remember. I need to get further into it. And, like, I lost time. Like, even complaining about all the deaths and the survival mode, I lost time playing it. Like, I sat there and I was like, I'll play for like an hour or 2. I ended up playing for like 3 or 4, I think. Because it ended up being 2 o'clock in the morning out of nowhere. And I'm like, fuck, this sucked. And I went to bed.
Yeah, I think I played for maybe an hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
Like, maybe closer to 2. Like, I did all the running around on the planet, which took forever.
Yeah.
To get the ship. And then I flew around a little bit, messed around with some of the freighters that were in space.
Yeah.
It's like I was saying to you, like, there's a lot more people on the freighters than I remember there being before.
Yeah, on the space stations before, it was 2 sides. There was 2 sides. One side was a shop and 2 people. The other side you couldn't get into until you found your first traveler thing. And yeah, there's a lot more people now, and they're trying to build up you could have a good or bad reputation with each race, and they're trying to build up reasoning for that now by, if you don't have a good standing with the Korvox, you can't shop some of their shops. You can only shop the intergalactic shop. Yeah,
like the one I went to, I happened to talk to a person who, even though I don't understand any of their language, he's like, I think they want my multi-tool. Should I give him the multi-tool? And I gave him the multi-tool, and then he handed me back a better one.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, subjectively better. Like, a bunch of the components are broken, and I need to go, like, salvage things to fix them.
Yeah.
But it's like 3 times the size of the one you start with as far as, like, slots go. And it went from, like, a D to a B or something like that.
Yeah.
So, like, it's an upgrade, and all of the stuff I already had working on there still works.
Yeah.
So, but...
Yeah, I'm gonna get back more into that game. I believe on Monster Hunter Behemoth comes out tonight or tomorrow, so I'm going to be playing that for a while. But after that, I'm gonna be playing some more No Man's Sky and maybe getting back into other games.
Fucking hope so. Jesus.
Maybe. I don't know. I really like Monster Hunter.
Play something different so you have something to talk about, though.
We'll see what happens after this weekend. I have my birthday coming up. I don't know what people are getting me yet.
I mean, last time people got you games, you never played them.
I mean, I played some.
You never played on Sunset Overdrive?
I haven't even turned on my Xbox One, though. So
I know. Turn on your Xbox One. Spend a week updating.
I got that for Christmas, and I had time occupied with something else from Christmas till Monster Hunter, and then I played a shit ton of Monster Hunter.
Too much Monster Hunter.
No, there's not enough Monster
Hunter. Anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much been my week. There's a couple of movies on Netflix that I want to watch. Extinction looks really cool. And, there was an anime one that looks really neat. So maybe...
Did you know the live action Full Metal Alchemist is on Netflix?
Yeah, I talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that's right, you did. I thought I had heard about it somewhere when I saw it on Netflix. And I'm like, I forgot this was on here. I remember hearing about it. I forgot it was you that had talked about that.
Yeah.
Did you watch it? Or did you...
I watched it.
That's right.
Why don't you go back and listen to this podcast called PodQuest?
Look, you talk about Monster Hunter too much. I just started phasing everything out.
See, that's what sucks about you.
No, I do remember you talking about it now. It was long enough ago to have forgotten.
Yeah.
The same way you forget when I tell you things. So...
I don't always forget.
You do usually.
Not as much as you do.
That's debatable. But again, because I forgot that it was on there, I saw that and I'm just like, I forgot this was a thing. And then like it dawned on me, I'm like, oh no, I remember this being a thing now. I watched the trailer and that trailer does not make that look very good.
It wasn't bad.
I do remember you not having complaints about it now that you jogged my memory.
I feel like I need to rewatch Full Metal Brotherhood because that's what it's what it seems like it's mostly based off of.
Which is the manga for the most part.
Yeah.
So,
but
I don't know. The guy that plays Ed looks way too old.
Yeah.
Like, Al in the suit, like, the suit of armor looks very, consistent with how it should.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just something about it, it didn't look great.
Oh, no, the look of it doesn't look great, but it sticks pretty tightly to the story. It flows pretty decently. My biggest complaint was there was no Scar in it, but as far as we know right now, like, there is a sequel to it, at least one sequel.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's already been filmed, and I think been released as well. It's just not on Netflix yet. Scar could be in it because they had the dog and she's still alive. They brought her in. I don't think she ever died yet.
Oh God, they did that in that movie?
Yeah, they did that. So it seems like they could still bring in Scar. I just gotta wait for it for now.
Wow, it has a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It was released in Japan by Warner Brothers in December of last year. Oh wow, so it's actually for some reason I thought it was older than that.
No, it's pretty recent. Pretty new.
So in July of 2017, they said that a sequel was in development.
Okay.
But like nothing has actually been done yet. Oh yeah, look at that. There's Nina and there's her dad.
Yep.
So really it was like the first like 4 episodes of Brotherhood.
No, like they do Hughes' death.
Okay, so that's weird.
Yeah.
Well, cuz I'm just looking at it and I see Father Cornello, which that's episode 2.
Yeah.
Nina and Tucker are episode 4.
Yeah.
And Hughes dies on episode 10.
Yeah.
We literally just watched them. That's how I know them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they go through Hughes' death, and then there's a scene. I don't know how far into Brotherhood this is, but like they're trying to track down the different laboratories, and the one that they go is where they did human transmutation at, and they find
that was before Hughes dies.
Yeah, they do that after Hughes or during Hughes' death.
Yeah, no, that's like so in Brotherhood. It's let's say episode 7 and 8 are that like them in the labs fighting the other 2 people that have been bonded to suits of armor.
Yeah,
or 3 people technically because the one guy is 2.
They didn't have those 2. But they did go into the warehouse, but it was empty, and Ed and Alf ended up like fighting each other.
Okay. So they do that. Ed gets fucked up. He goes to the hospital. You have like the 2 episodes of him in the hospital where like Winry comes to fix his automail because it broke because she forgot a screw in it.
Yeah.
And like the episode after he gets out of the hospital, they get on a train to go to their old teacher. And it's the episode where they're on the train is where Hughes gets killed. So like they're literally talking about like getting him a present for like being a good friend.
Yeah.
While they're having a funeral for him.
Yeah. And it was I have to rewatch Brotherhood because
like, even Erica during the funeral scene, she's sitting there, she's like, really? They're going to do this? Really?
Yeah.
Because that's the scene where like the little girl is just like, Mommy, why are they burying Daddy?
Yeah.
He said he has work to do.
Yeah. It's such a powerful anime.
I think we're up to like episode 11 or 12. We finished the first like set on Netflix. Like they're broken up not by season, but like there's like 6 or 7 like sets of episodes.
Yeah.
And I want to say they're all like 11 or 12 each.
Was there a point where they go into this room and the priest dude, the father, what's his name, is down there working with, I believe, Envy, Gluttony, and I think it's Sloth in this. No, not Sloth.
Lust.
Lust. Envy, Lust, and Gluttony in this one.
So that is episode 2. Like he is technically working with them. But then when
it happens again later
when
on.
they flash back to him again, he is dead, I believe, and Envy is portraying him.
Yeah. Okay. And there's it was a general. That's right. There was a general that he's there. There's just a big room. There's a bunch of Philosopher's Stones in this room that they turned humans into, and they use these Philosopher's Stones to like pretty much animate zombies.
That has not happened yet.
Okay.
I don't remember that happening in Brotherhood at all either.
It might. I can't fully remember.
Other than I mean, we watched some more Brotherhood. We also went last week, I think I mentioned it at the end of last week's episode, we went and saw Princess Mononoke in the theater.
Yeah.
Which that was cool. That movie's a little longer than I remembered it being.
Yeah. But it's a good movie.
It's like a 2 hour and 10-minute movie.
Yeah.
And it is very good. It definitely doesn't need to be that long, though. There is some stuff that does not need to be there.
Yeah, I mean...
But, like, even... I want to say that movie came out in, like, 97 or something like that. Like, that movie still looks incredible, and it still plays really well. And that was... I don't know if it's still the case, but all those Studio Ghibli movies...
Yeah.
I think are still distributed in America by Disney.
They are. I believe they are.
So they tend to get really high production, like, voice casts and stuff that when they dub it, which is cool. Cause like Billy Bob Thornton's in it and Claire Danes.
Yeah.
I also realized while watching it, cause it's been a long time since I really sat down and watched it. It is basically the adult version of Ferngully.
I don't think I've ever watched. I don't remember Ferngully.
How do you not remember Ferngully?
I don't.
It's the movie with Tim Curry as Sludge and Robin Williams as a bat.
Yeah, I don't. I vaguely remember it, if anything.
So I don't remember the characters' names, but you had the one. Her name was like Krista, I think. She was like a fairy in the forest, and she saves this dude who's there to cut down trees. Like he's like he works in like a foresting company from something, but by saving him, she shrinks him down to her size. And they go on like this adventure to find out why they shouldn't destroy the rainforest, and the like big monster is like this like smog cloud that's voiced by Tim Curry.
Yeah, I vaguely remember, if anything. Like
it's not a great movie, but it's a great movie.
Yeah.
And it's very much an environmental, like, hey kids, don't kill the rainforest. And Princess Mononoke is very much a hey kids and adults, stop fucking up nature with your industrialization and wars.
Yeah.
But still, really good movie.
It was. It really was.
I'm gonna check and see if there's any more like good ones that I'd want to sit through in the theater coming up, because I think they're doing that through September or
They're
October.
doing all the Ghibli movies, so
no,
Returns.
they're not. They're not doing all of them. There are so many, like they're doing the big ones and a lot of the Miyazaki ones, but I think they're doing maybe a dozen altogether out of the 100 Studio Ghibli films there are.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Studio Ghibli Fest. Like I know, Castle in the Sky was one of them. I know they did Spirited Away. Yeah, so it's 12 movies. So it's Ponyo, Pom Poko, My Neighbor Totoro, The Cat Returns, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, Porco Rosso, Grave of the Fireflies, and Castle in the Sky. So it doesn't have you don't have Howl's Moving Castle, Kiki's Delivery Service, which those are.
I thought I saw that they were on it.
Nope.
I can't remember. But
I'm looking at the list right now.
It is a lot of the big ones, and they usually do it every year. Fathom Events does it with like every couple of weeks or like once a month. They'll do a different movie.
Yeah, like I might try and go see Spirited Away in October.
Okay, that'd be worth watching.
Yeah, Spirited Away is a really good one. I actually, Howl's Moving Castle is probably one of my favorites, and Kiki's Delivery Service is actually really good too.
I don't think I've ever seen Kiki's.
It's kind of just like a sweet movie for the most part.
Yeah. Like,
she's a witch in training. She works at a bakery.
Yeah.
Like, the food in it looks really good. She makes like a fish cake or something like that. I forget what exactly it is. But yeah, so I saw that. We ended up watching the entire new season of Orange is the New Black between Friday and Sunday.
Okay.
That show's never been bad, but it was getting a little kind of by the numbers, I guess would be the best way to put it. Like every season was just more of the same stuff in the same place. This season they changed it up drastically because they all got moved to actual like real prison. Like they were in like a. Did you ever watch any of it?
I've never watched any of it.
You would actually like it. That's something that you should start watching.
Okay.
I think this was season 6. So 6 times 13 is how many episodes it is.
70, 78.
Yeah. But yeah, so this season, like their minimum security prison got shut down.
Okay.
And they all got moved to like a maximum security prison where like people are there for murder and shit rather than like drug charges and like assault.
Yeah.
And like tax evasion.
Yeah.
So like there, and actually, you watched Last Man Standing, like off and on. The second oldest, like the oldest daughter, but the second actress to play her. She's in it as a convict.
Okay.
She plays like a real bitchy convict too.
Okay.
But it was like this breath of fresh air into the series that like it was never bad, but it was just, like I didn't know how much more they could really do in the same place. And like unfortunately, like the worst part of the whole season is the character that it's supposed to be like about. Like Piper is the character's name in the show. I can't remember what the actress's name is. And it's not the actress is doing a bad job. She's doing a great job. Her character just sucks.
Yeah.
Like she's not likable. You're not rooting for her at all. Like a lot of these other inmates, like you're rooting for them. Like there's one girl that's actually on trial for a murder she didn't commit. And the whole time you're just like, she needs to get off. Like this isn't fair. This is bullshit. She didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And like, had it been the blonde, it's like, no, fucking lock her up and throw away the key. Like, put her in solitary confinement for the rest of her life. She's a shitty person and doesn't deserve to, like, walk with humans. But yeah, it was a really good season, and it had a really good ending. Like, it was simultaneously sad and uplifting.
Okay.
Which is weird, but like, it's what happens when you have like an ensemble cast like that, where some characters had a happy ending, some characters didn't have such a happy ending.
Yeah.
And I think that main character actually might not be a main character anymore after some of the stuff they did this season. Like, I think she might be, like, regulated to, like, secondary.
Interesting.
So, like, how much do you know about the show?
Just know it's, like, based off of a book of somebody who went to jail or something.
Yeah. So,
I really don't know much, and
so
I've never really been interested in it. Like,
so this woman went to prison for real. She wrote a book about it. She was only in jail for a year.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she was in jail for what the character in the show was, which was like, she like smuggled drugs once, or like drug money. Like she did something bad, but she didn't do anything like bad. And this was like a decade prior to that even happening that she did this. She was like in college still and got like just wrapped up with the wrong people at the wrong time and helped out somebody that she thought was like a friend, and like years later she actually just like turns herself in.
Okay.
For like reasons. And so like the first 5 seasons are kind of like life in this prison, but it's always like small chunks because she's only in prison for a year. So I think like season 2 it's spring, and then this season 6 they're just passing Halloween.
Okay.
So I remember specifically there was a Mother's Day weekend, and then they talked about Halloween this time. So it's been like 6 months or so.
Okay.
But it's like, it's got such an interesting cast of characters. And like some of them you fucking hate, and some of them you love, and other ones you sort of like, you start out not liking them and then they grow on you over time. And some people die, and some people you wish would die, but they don't. And it's a really well done show.
Okay. Yeah, I've been told I have to watch it and check it out. It's just...
You were literally just saying you don't have anything to watch on Netflix. Like, even if you watched one episode a day for that.
No, it's not that I don't have anything to watch on Netflix. It's, I don't generally sit down and watch sitcoms. Like, I put sitcoms on to go to bed or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I'm running out of sitcoms to watch because I've watched them all so many times, and all the ones that I want to watch aren't on Netflix anymore.
Okay, that makes more sense then. But either way, like, I honestly do think you'd enjoy the show. The first season's really good, but like, it is a little bit of a slow burn at first, just because it's one of those Netflix shows. Like, that's how a lot of them start out. Like, they're a little bit of a slow burn, but once you kind of like get a few episodes in, you're kind of just in all the way.
Yeah.
We also, though, we started watching, after we finished that up, a show called The Magicians.
I heard of that show. That was on
It's on Sci-Fi. It still is. I think they got renewed for a 3rd season. That's, I guess, later this year or next year or something.
Yeah.
We watched, I want to say 3 or 4 episodes of it. It's an interesting show. I don't know, I'm not entirely sure how interesting yet, but they kind of take Harry Potter and mix it with any of those just like AMC shows.
Yeah.
There's literally a college to teach you magic.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it. I was very interested in it when I actually had cable. I wanted to watch it as it aired, but never got around to it. I knew it was on Netflix.
Yeah. The first 2 seasons are, which I think is all that's actually out right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like there's a college to get your graduate's degree in magic, and the main character gets invited to take like the entrance exam. Like there was no prior magical training. Apparently, people, if you try hard enough, anyone can do a little magic. It's just knowing how to do it is the hard part.
Yeah.
But people that actually have the aptitude for it can do like really cool stuff.
Okay.
Like one girl can bend light, so like she can make herself invisible the way the Invisible Woman can without like really trying.
Yeah.
Another kid can teleport. Like,
Nice.
Yeah. And they all have like their focuses. So like depending on like what your powers skew more towards, that's what they'll give you for a focus. The main kid just doesn't have a focus yet.
Okay.
I say kid, he's in his 20s,
Yeah.
if not older, because it's a graduate program. Like technically, he went to a normal college and then got brought into this one.
Yeah.
And then like, so you have that half where they're literally at this magic school, and it's in upstate New York, like the fucking X-Men. But like, you can't just find it. You need to know where it's at to get there, or be like invited through magical means. And then there's this other group that's like the Renegades that like. They're doing magic off the grid, and they're like an underground unit of magicians.
Nice.
And even if the school doesn't want you, they'll still teach you how to do magic if you try hard enough. But they seem to be a little like on the shady side. Like their leader definitely seems like she's up to something.
Yeah. And then what's going to happen is it's going to turn the opposite way, and it's the school's on the shady side, and they're actually trying to protect the world from the school.
I don't know if that's going to be it or not, but in the first episode, the main guy asks like the headmaster during like his like admissions, he's like, are you like training me to like take over the world? And the guy's like, well, no, like that's not part of our curriculum, but if you're done and you want to give it a shot, like fucking go for it.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to stop you. I mean,
Yeah.
we might stop you, but like you do you, buddy. It's weird and contemporary, but fantasy at the same time. So, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't really know what I was getting into when we started it, but so far it's been kind of cool.
Nice. Cool.
And the only other thing I have is I got the Mega Man X collection on Switch.
Okay.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Because it's Mega Man X Collection 1 and Mega Man X Collection 2.
Yeah.
Which, or Legacy Collection. 1 is 1 through 4, 2 is 5 through 8. So it's 4 games each with like the challenge modes and stuff like that on there. I am passable at Mega Man. Like I can play a Mega Man and I can figure out the patterns and get through them. Like I can beat Mega Man 2 without really trying too hard. I can beat Quick Man's level without using the level, not the boss, without using the time power.
Yeah.
I am fucking atrocious at Mega Man X, though. Holy crap.
I've never thought to use the time power on Quickman's level.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know when you're falling?
I don't need it.
That's like the normal thing. Like when you're doing that thing where you have to fall like exactly as you need to, people freeze it so that they can get through it. But then you're putting yourself in a bad spot to take on Quickman. Because Quickman's he's not impossible to beat without it, but it's just so much easier to just freeze him and let him lose half his health.
Yeah.
Especially if you get to him with full health, because then you just kind of have to like blast away, and you shouldn't have any problem. But yeah, I am really bad at Mega Man X. I apparently like Mega Man X is harder, like without a doubt. It is a harder game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I got it for Switch. The playing in handheld mode does not feel good at all.
No.
Between the D-pad sucking and the buttons being laid out wrong. Like, because the buttons aren't skewed at all. Like, I want to say and it's not even so much skewed, but like the way you hold that, the buttons are just up and like they're like a PlayStation controller. It's top, bottom, left, right. I want to say when you're holding the classic controller, they're sideways a little bit more, kind of like the Super Nintendo controller.
The controller itself is built differently.
So the default button config is, I want to say it's Y is shoot, B is jump, A is dash. Doing any sort of combination with dash is just uncomfortable playing in handheld mode. Like, it's very hard to hold a charge shot and dash at the same time without accidentally jumping also. Or trying to hold a charge shot and do the dash jump so that, like, you clear, like, bigger pits.
Yeah.
It's, like, I used to do it all the time on a Super Nintendo controller with child hands. So I know it's not the size of the controller or anything. It's just the buttons and the way that you hold the Switch in handheld mode just does not feel good at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've never, like, anytime I played the Mega Man X games, I never really worried about the charge jumps. So, like, I also always played a Zero whenever I had them, which is, like...
Well, I don't think you can play a Zero till X4.
Yeah.
And then he's not in Well, he's in X5, but he's not playable in X5. Because X5 is the one where you actually have Zero's sword.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, suspected dead.
Yeah.
But, so, I don't remember... At a certain point, you can actually do the dash in the air also. In X1, you can't.
You need to get the boots.
I have the boots. The boots don't let you do it in the air. They just let you do it on the ground. If you hit the dash while you're jumping, it actually brings you to the ground quicker.
Then you probably need to get something else in X1.
I'm actually pretty sure they just didn't have it in X1. You remember, X1 is from like 1993?
Yeah.
And it was on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
But that game was hard enough, and I am bad enough at it that I had to swap it to easy mode to get past a mini boss.
You're a bitch.
I spent 3 days trying to beat this fucking boss. I actually went back, I beat other stages. Like, I literally went through and I beat bosses in other stages out of order without, like, the proper weapons, but could not beat this fucking mini boss.
I think you just suck at video games. I mean, it's been something we've been saying for years. It just proves it now.
I don't know. Let's see you do it.
All right, bring it over.
I'll bring it over next week. We'll see if you can beat Spark Mandrill's stage.
Yeah, bring it over.
On normal.
Bring it over on Friday, after I'm drinking. Or Saturday.
I was going to say Friday.
Bring it over Saturday while I'm drinking. I'll beat it on normal.
I doubt that. Have you ever played Mega Man X1?
I don't think so.
Yeah, there's this fucking mini-boss on, I want to say it's Spark Mandrill's stage, where he's like this blob that's on the ceiling, and he like comes down and he bounces and he shoots stuff out that sticks you to the floor, and he has a lightning shot that he hits on the ground. Before I'm even in the room, he has already thrown stuff on the ground to stick me in place. So I even looked up, I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Am I supposed to be using like a different weapon on him or something like that? And they literally just say, well, run into the room and immediately jump up the wall. And you can't, because he's already thrown his sticky stuff on the floor before I'm even in the room all the way. But it's just like, it's this really shitty setup, and it was, I went and I did a bunch of the other bosses. I think I cleared 3 other bosses, and then went back to that level and just could not beat that fucking blob. So I put it on the rookie mode or whatever they're calling it in there. Got through it no problem. Like, then I was able to set it back and I went through the rest of the level no problem. But like, fuck, that thing is complicated.
Yeah, I mean...
And I actually, Papa's been streaming them. Like, I think he just finished X4 today. And I've watched them in the morning while he's been playing. And, like, I've seen him play, like, the old Mega Man games, and he just fucking flies through them. And even on these, like, he runs into fucking parts every once in a while where he's, like, dying repeatedly.
Yeah.
It's like, well, at least I'm not the only one that dies a lot in this game.
I mean, that's part of Mega Man, is to die a lot. You learn the patterns.
But you know what it is? Like, I don't know, something about X is less pattern-y and more... I don't want to say more skill-based, because both of them are skill-based. Like, you need to know how to do stuff in Mega Man to avoid things. Just like in, like, the old Mario Brothers, you need to know when you can jump based on, like, your hitbox and all. And I know, like, Mega Man's the same way. Like, there are certain times where, like, hitboxes make a big difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that one fucking mini-boss, just unbearable.
You just suck. Says
the guy who had to play Devil May Cry on easy mode.
Look, I remember it being the hardest game in all existence.
Play Mega Man X. We'll see if you still think that.
Oh, I'm telling you, bring it over on Sunday or Saturday. I can't
every time you said this, you've said a different day of the week.
I can't. I'm so out of it today. It's ridiculous. But bring it over Saturday, and I'm only just logging on to HQ just so I can get my streak. I don't really care about playing.
But yeah, I mean, the collection isn't that different from the regular Mega Man collection, Legacy collection. So there's no save states in it, the way the other Legacy collection lets you. Which I don't really mind not having save states. Like, it's not a big deal if you can't save in the middle of a level. It's like a nice feature if you can't like play a whole level through. You don't have to start it over. But like, it's not the end of the world if you have to start a Mega Man level over. They're not that long. Yeah. Especially if you know your way through it and you know like what to avoid, like it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But like even the SNES Classic has an X1 on it, and you can do a save state on that. But like my problem is like the actual saving of the game is pretty shitty. So it saves. You can only save the game, and I don't know if this was how they originally worked, because I don't remember what these games were like on the Super Nintendo. but you save on the password screen. So like when the password screen comes up, you hit save and it says it's saving the game. It does not tell you, like there's no option to load a game though when you like restart it. You actually have to go to password and then at the bottom it says press X to load your saved game.
I mean, that's probably similar to how it was before. Like, they probably threw it in there because there's gonna be passwords and that's how they...
Well, I mean, the game has passwords. It's just... It's weird that they didn't just let you have save states because you don't use either of the trigger buttons. Like, you use L1 and R1, but you don't use L2 and R2. Or whatever they're called on the Switch.
Yeah.
So, like, why not just let you hit one of them to do a save state? Like, it doesn't hurt anything. Rather than, like, having this weird thing buried in there. Like, I started the game twice trying to figure out how to, like, load a saved game. And I finally looked up the passcode for what I would have had done. And was getting ready to put that in when I saw hey, load your game this way.
Okay, yeah.
And I mean, like, it could have totally been something that was there in 1993, and I just don't remember it, because it was almost 20 years ago.
I mean, in 1993, you probably wrote down your passcode.
Over 20 years ago?
Yeah, you probably wrote down the passcode to get to that point.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely would have back then, but it's just, I don't know. That is such a relic of a different time, like, let people just fucking save it. Especially for, like, something like that mini-boss. Like, that is the sort of thing where I would do a save state before that, and I would just keep doing it. Even after I beat him once, I would just keep reloading that save state to figure out how the fuck to actually get past him, like, consistently. Just for, like, peace of mind. Just so I know, like, when I play that game again, I know what to do to beat that son of a bitch.
Just play through the level again.
That whole level is just shitty. Like, not, like, hard shitty, just, like, not fun shitty. Because it's the one where... parts of it, there's like lightning bolts that shoot across it, and then other parts just have the big tanks that take a lot of damage to kill them. So you're constantly having to, and like I know the pattern of it at this point, but it's a lot of dash jumping to get over the things, but not running too far ahead so that you run into one of the tanks before you're like ready to fight them.
Yeah.
And like it's not hard. It's just one of those like I don't want to fucking play this level over and over again. It's not a good level.
Probably because you suck.
But I don't have any problems getting through that level. I have problems on the mini-boss. The level is just not fun. Like, it's not good platforming.
Yeah, I mean, I've never played Mega Man X, so I really don't...
Any of them?
I've played X4...
Oh, right, that's what you said that you played a Zero before. So.
I never really played much other Mega Man X games. Like
I think X4 was the first one on PlayStation, which would make sense. Because I think it was 4, 5, and 6, I want to say, were PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
And then 7 and 8 were PS2.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure 7 and 8 are the two that nobody likes.
Yeah.
Or that are the ones that nobody likes.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, it sounds like a show.
It does. And being a show, if you'd like to find more shows, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. You can find us at facebook.com/onequestonline. Or at @1_quest on Twitter and Instagram. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestonline. And you can find all of our other podcasts on all of your favorite services like Stitcher, Google Play Music, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or anywhere else that podcasts might be served. And you can always email us, social@one-quest.com. And that's going to do it. We'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See you guys.